Hey everyone, Andrew here, bringing you another video review, and today we're going to be doing, from the DC animated original movie line, Batman, Under the Red Hood. Take a look at this movie cover right here. I almost said comic, but definitely it's a movie cover. Okay, on to Under the Red Hood. Under the Red Hood is a film based off the story arc in Batman called Batman Under the Hood. Now, Under the Hood was written by Judd Winick, and I believe that he actually had a hand in the film too. He might actually did some of the writing for it. I could be wrong, don't quote me, but I think Judd Winick actually had a hand in this too. And Under the Hood follows kind of the same formula that the Batman Superman animated movie followed, in that it's actually very, very, very similar to that of the comic counterpart. This is about 85%, 80% around there of similar to the comic counterpart. Almost from move to move to story plots and all this other stuff. It's very, very similar in that sense. There's obviously some changes, which I'll point out, but for the most part, the story is the same. I'm not going to go into the story too much because, well, I mean, I'm just assuming that you already read Under the Hood. But for those of you who have not read Under the Hood and Under the Red Hood is a story that tells about the death and return of Jason Todd, the second Robin, and his vendetta against the Joker and Batman. He's basically becomes a crime lord, take over Gotham's crime, tries to eliminate Black Mask in the process, and it's just a boiling pot of Batman, Joker, Black Mask, and Red Hood. So that's the basic story. It's the death and return of the second Robin. Now, like I said, a few things change in this. Mainly how Robin dies in the beginning. Also, his costume is similar to that of Tim Drake's last costume as Robin. But how Robin dies, how things were arranged, Ra's al Ghul's part in it. His return was changed a little bit. Superboy Prime was obviously not a part of it. And lastly, the ending was different because the ending of Under the Hood dealt with Chemical falling and blowing up, and obviously that didn't happen in this. Those are the major changes. Obviously there's some smaller changes in this too. But for the most part, the changes were nice. I liked the changes. I was okay with them. So, like I said, I'm not going to go too much in the story. I'm just going to jump into the main characters, tell you what I thought about them, then we'll do the good, the bad, whether or not you should get it and call it a day. What do you think? So, let's start off with the man himself, Batman. Now, I don't remember the names of any of the voice actors. All I know is Doogie Howser played Nightwing, I think, and one of the brothers from Supernatural played Red Hood. I'm not going to bother with any of the other voice actors. I just don't know their names, and I don't care. But Batman. For the most part, Batman was voice acted pretty good. I mean, it's hard to really compare a Batman voice actor without comparing him to Kevin Conroy, who is the man himself. Actually, the only voice acting that I don't compare to Kevin Conroy is the Brave and the Bold Batman, which I really do like. But it's mostly because it has a campy feel to it. But it's hard not to compare to Kevin Conroy. But in not comparing to Kevin Conroy, the voice was adequate. It did its job, it got through the movie, and I felt as though it could be a Batman voice. So, in that, the voice acting was okay. I liked how Batman moved, I liked how Batman acts, and for the most part, Batman felt true to Batman. The only thing I didn't like was his conversation with Red Hood at the very end, with Jason Todd at the very end, but I'll get into that later. So, Batman was portrayed pretty nicely. Let's do Nightwing. I like Nightwing probably the most out of all of them, because he felt like Nightwing. He felt like the status quo that is Nightwing. Voice, mannerisms, cracking the jokes, all that stuff. He felt like Nightwing. So, you know, I gotta give Doogie Howser credit because he did a good job. If it was Doogie Howser that did Nightwing, and I think it was. But anyways, Nightwing was done well. Joker. Joker, what I liked about Joker is, although it's not the best Joker performance, it was different. Joker felt older. He felt more battle-worn. He felt like an old man, kind of. And I like that. I felt good with that. He also felt a little bit more cynical. And a little bit more dry humorish than normal. But for the most part, the Joker was okay. Not the best Joker, but I still liked it. Black Mask was good. I thought he was comical. And I thought he was more there to just push the story. I didn't think he was going to be in the story because he really didn't need Black Mask. You could have actually done it without him. I mean, it could have just been about the crime lords, but I'm actually happy they put Black Mask in it. He was comical, but not really too overly impressed with Black Mask. And lastly, Red Hood, Jason Todd. For the most part, I liked Jason Todd as Red Hood, too. I liked the voice acting for him. I thought his moves were cool. I liked the dialogue. I thought he was done well, too. So for the most part, all the characters felt good. Black Mask and Joker felt a little off, but Joker was at least redeemable in being different. So let's get into the good, the bad, and whether or not you should get it. Good. Action rocked. There was some great fight scenes in this. I really liked the action scenes. No complaints at all there. I also liked how they actually brought Jason Todd back to life, which I thought was better than the explanation that they gave in the comics. In the comics, it was all about Superboy Prime punching a wall, Jason Todd coming back to life, Talia throwing him in the Lazarus pit, where in this, it's just plain flat out he gets thrown in the Lazarus pit. It makes sense, and I actually like how they tie it into Death in the Family, and how they changed that up a bit with Ra's al Ghul. The story itself progressed nicely. I thought the story itself was well done. Of course, if Judd Winick had a hand in this, and they followed the comic pretty well, then it's going to be good. I mean, Under the Hood is one of my favorite Batman stories. So that's another good. And I also liked how they handled Nightwing's interaction. I felt as though Nightwing had to be there, because you kind of need a comparison between, the prodigal son Nightwing, and then you have to have Red Hood, who's the son that Batman failed. So I liked that stuff, too. I liked how Nightwing was in there, and he was utilized for a good amount, but not too much. I was just like, why are you here? So I liked how Nightwing was used. Bad side. The only downside I had with this, the only complaint I had with this, is the conversation at the end with Jason Todd and Batman. And at the end of Under the Hood, Jason Todd asked, why didn't you kill Joker and all this stuff. And when I read it, I thought of it to be this slow, emotional, quiet conversation kind of, except for when Jason was yelling. In this, they felt as though they rushed that conversation. So that was my one big complaint. But besides that, Under the Red Hood is pretty good. I mean, for those who read Under the Hood, there's enough changes here for it to be different, but it's loyal enough to the comic that you'll enjoy it. For those who haven't read Under the Hood, and I've watched this with my girlfriend, will enjoy it in of itself. She was actually surprised that this is a more grittier, darker, and kind of violent movie. She was kind of cringing at all the crowbar shots and the heads getting blown off and all that junk. So, on the whole, this is actually one of the better films in the DC original movies, and I recommend highly picking it up. So with that said, this is Andrew saying, peace out for now.